I'm the programmer for the Midnight Madness selection, but I'm also the curator for the Vanguard selection. What that means is I have a number of films that I've selected in Vanguard, but I also work with the other programmers to identify and target films that I feel work well in the Vanguard section. I'm pretty excited to have a film which is directed by 27 directors. ABCs of Death is set up in the structure of a child's ABC book. However, the directors have been told to make a film about death pertaining to that letter. Are you with me? So they've assembled the top names in genre cinema. Jason Eisner, who directed Hobo with a Shotgun, Adam Wingard, who directed Your Next and Horrible Way to Die. A whole incredible international assembly of wild and wacky directors. So this film is audacious, outrageous, fantastic, bizarre, and of course very perverse. So ABCs of Death, and it also promises to have one of the biggest director presences on the stage of the Ryerson. I'm really pleased to have a film that I invited last year for Midnight Madness that wasn't ready and unfortunately had to pull out at the last minute, but is ready for us this year, and it's J.T. Petty's Hellbenders. Hellbenders promises to be the first comedy about exorcists that we've ever had in TIFF. Now, these exorcists are kamikaze exorcists, and they're the ones you bring in at the last minute when everything's going wrong with the exorcism. They bring the spirit into their body and then kill themselves, taking that spirit straight to hell. Hellbenders, an exorcism comedy. Berberian Sound Studio is a really special film for me as a cinephile. It's set around 1972, and it's about a timid and meek sound engineer who goes from London to Italy to work on the soundtrack of the horror film. The images are incredibly provocative, very lurid, and he's brought there to make the sound, to bring in the sound effects, to cue the music. However, the beauty of this film is it's set in the 1970s in an analog sound studio, and you never actually see the film that he's working on. He's a very timid man who's quite disturbed by the images that he sees, and what results is a slow journey into madness. I'm really excited to share a small film from Norway that I discovered called Tale, or Thale, T-H-A-L-E, which is about a Norwegian mythological creature. This nymph-like creature who is akin to a forest mermaid. A beautiful woman that would lure woodsmen deep into the forest, never to be heard from again. A beautiful woman except for one peculiar trait, and that's an animal-like tail. The heroes of the film are two guys who are working as a forensics cleanup crew. They're deep in the forest cleaning up a murder which has happened at a cabin, and then in the basement they find a laboratory, and they find one of these creatures captive. What happens then is an interesting relationship dynamic with this mythological creature and these two men in the middle of the forest. It's an ideal fantasy thriller, and it's playing with a mythological creature which is totally alien to our culture, but like I said, is like the Norwegian mermaid. I think this one's really going to surprise audiences, and I can't wait to introduce them to this creature.